Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast. My name is Zane.
And I'm still Aaron.
And I'm still Silas.
I never do that, so that was weird.
That was good. You did good.
You did a good job.
It's a pretty hard job. That's why it's mine. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are talking about the rhythm of family worship. Not the rhythm meaning singing.
Or dancing.
I
or
can sing a song
dancing.
right now if you want.
Yeah.
Please.
No. I was
What was the
of Gloria
first song that came to
Estefan,
mind?
Something about with the rhythm of the night. Do, 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 do. It's an old 80s song. Sorry.
Comment if you know that
I
song.
thought
grew
that
up in
was
the
from
80s.
Phantom of the Opera.
No, it's Gloria Estefan.
At first I thought it was
something.
Prince of
I think
Egypt.
she might be dead now.
That one. Because he had the rhythm there.
So here we go. Family
So
worship.
one of the things we talk about in our school group that you just posted on is the importance of doing. We talk a lot on here about discipleship one-on-one with your kids, right? And I do think that's very important and it should be a priority. But that doesn't necessarily mean you don't do discipleship one-on-many with your kids.
Right.
And so what does that look like in terms of doing discipleship in your home and leading? This episode is mainly for men. So if you're a girl listening to this, just make
Keep
sure
listening.
you listen to it. Don't communicate with your husband and then hold the expectation of it over him.
Wow.
Don't
Sounds
do that.
very healthy.
Passive
Very
aggressive.
healthy.
Send it to your husband.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you're the guy, listen, brother, it's time
Your
to
job.
step up. Okay, so let me start off. We do a parenting class every other week with you, Dad, and a bunch of other couples from church, different churches actually. Yeah, there's like 3 churches there.
Which is nice.
And we all start the study, and everybody has to go around and do accountability, which is there's the 3 Ds of a good family, which is D for date night, D for devotions, and D for discipline. So date night, are you dating your wife, prioritizing your marriage, things that are important in parenting? Devotions, are you leading, this one's for the man, are you leading your family in hopefully like some form of daily worship? And then discipline, which is just, are your kids acting up in a certain way that's been hard for you to deal with? So, you're up.
Oh, okay, good.
I was ready.
So I wrote a little blog or whatever you call it on your little page there, Silas, from the family
Little,
school.
little.
You should stop saying little so much. It's a
Little,
big
little.
deal.
I wrote this huge blog.
There you go.
So basically, we talked about just the joy that doing family worship brings to your family.
Yeah.
I did not realize this. I don't really remember when Lori and I started doing family worship with the kids and why we started doing it. We probably read somewhere or heard in church, hey, you need to be leading your family in worship.
I don't
one of
remember
us-
not doing it.
Right.
So it was
well,
for
we
sure
started
after
before
me.
you. Yeah. Neither one of us grew up with it. My family was very intentional in terms of we went to a Christian school. We were at church. I mean, the church was at the school was at the church, but we were at church every day of the week pretty much. And I think my dad and mom felt like, especially then in the 70s, it was more like a program oriented. But when we started having kids, again, don't remember exactly what turned us on to it, but we started doing, family worship every evening. As for us, it was sort of a way of winding down the evening, and it's super awkward for a while. But then it became like, this is really fun. And it became something we look forward to. I think the kids enjoyed it growing up. I hope they did. I know a lot of them are doing it with their kids now. So I'm assuming that's a good sign of, okay, you took something from this, some family unity in this, and you want to carry it on with your own kids. So family worship is a intentional time that you set aside every day, or let's just say if you average, 3 solid nights a week, 3 or 4, that's pretty good. I mean, we try to do 4 or 5. We tried growing up. There's certain seasons where it's harder. Summertime, sometimes kids get a lot of activities, whatever. But like you're consistently meeting with your family to do family worship. And we'll talk about the different elements that can be in that. But like in the blog that I just wrote, it's like it's sort of up to you. I mean, again, this is a Christian gray area where we're not explicitly told how to lead our families, but we are told to lead our families. So I mentioned that we did it at night, and I like to do it because it wound down the evening for us. It kind of got the kids ready for bed. And this is what I hear from many of the people in our parenting class. Wow, it just really like gets the kids sort of like on that track for, okay, it's almost time for bed. They're slowing down. And it's nice, especially when they're real little.
If you have toddlers, devotions is the hack to bedtime.
I mean, it really is.
You have to sit down, you have to be quiet, you sing a couple slow songs, and then you read a book. And it's the perfect segue to laying them straight down to bed.
Yeah.
It's the
But
best.
their mind's in the right place as well. So for
Yeah.
me, that was another point I made was calms down. It's fun. It's relaxing in the evening. But it also, like when you go to bed, your mind is in a better track than we just watched some, TV series
Bluey.
or we did whatever. Yeah, it's like, okay, that might get them riled up or that might get them, thinking about the wrong things. I don't know. But family worship, it's pretty strong. If you do it in the morning, it's just as good because, again, you're focusing them for the day. You're encouraging them. You're getting them to think about the right things, the right perspectives maybe, especially if you got a couple kids that are struggling with, maybe friendship groups at school or maybe, certain sin patterns. And you're like, hey, let's pray for so-and-so this morning, right? Let's start off the day thinking about this and we're going to check in with you tonight. So there's, again, no right or wrong way. Currently at our home, and it changes, the nightly devotion thing hasn't changed in probably about 26 years. But the morning routine has changed. And that just started probably with Lori and the kids 4 years ago.
That's when Mom became a morning person, actually.
Yeah, maybe a little more than that. I don't know what changed for her, but something just started waking her up.
She didn't have a baby.
Menopause.
Oh,
I don't
or
know what
that.
it was. But she gets up now with the kids, and they'll go through everybody's doing their own private devotion, but together at the table. And then they're going through something to as a group that they'll just read a little bit and then talk about it, and then they go eat breakfast. They keep it, it's super simple. It might be 20 minutes long, half hour. I don't know. It's not very long. I don't know because I don't go to it. I'm in bed actually, or getting ready for work. But again,
Poor leadership.
it is terrible leadership. But I think it's good that Lori's doing it because it's a different version for the kids of Dad isn't always the one.
Yeah.
I'm doing mine at night still. And sometimes I look at the content and think, oh, Lori's doing better than me right now. I got to step up my game or, whatever. But it's we'll talk about, again, the elements that can be in that, where to find them, how to do this. So, Zane, do you have any kind of family traditions growing up as far as family worship or?
We really didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there were special things that we did for around holiday times or something like that, or
Like
if there was
Advent
a
or
big
something?
event. Yeah, but we never had something regular like that.
And are you and Lizzie, have you talked about it at all together yet? Hey, when we have kids, we're wanting to be proactive and do this, or have you not had that conversation?
No, we have talked about it, but we haven't gotten super specific on what we would do.
Did she have a routine at her house that they did?
Mm-hmm. Their family was all very musical, so musical worship was kind of throughout their life.
Let's
just
start with that.
naturally.
Because that was the most awkward thing for me as a dad. Because I play guitar, but I play lousy guitar. And I was more like, Leonard Skinner and some country songs, Alabama, dumb stuff that you wouldn't have in worship anyway. But I remember this, I think that actually this was kind of when I started this. Colt and I were sitting in his bed one night, and he was probably 3 or 4, I don't know. He's pretty young. And I was showing him a song on the guitar, teaching him. It was a Leonard Skinner song, which is not very good parenting.
It's a good thing to teach your 4-year-old.
Yes, great thing. But it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, what am I doing? Right? I'm not teaching my kid.
I should be teaching him Journey.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't teaching him any Christian songs. And I'm teaching him worldly junk, which is why am I opening his mind to this stuff now? And I think that was actually part of the wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember when I did start doing family worship, back in those days, I guess there wasn't much technology yet. So it was all pretty much me on the guitar, learning. We had a little circle. My older kids will know this. There's probably 5 songs that we did over and over and over
by heart. We literally, it was there was Do Lord,
Yeah,
Oh
that was
God,
good
You
one.
Are My God, Step
Steps
by
of a Good
Step.
Man.
One that we didn't sing, The Battle Belongs to the Lord. We don't sing that one anymore,
Yeah,
but that
that's
used to be
fun.
my favorite one.
Yeah.
And then there was at one point one that the girls would echo, and Meryl would get really upset at us if the boys tried to echo with her.
That's hilarious.
And anyway, but we just sang 6 songs all the time. Amazing Grace. That was the easy one.
I remember one time we had a friend visit. This is just a side note, but if you want to know us and get to know our podcast, we're personal. This is a funny story. So our friend comes over visiting from Texas. Chris Wolf, if you're listening, he's a rich and powerful man now. We love you, Chris.
Rich and powerful man.
But he came over and they were watching our family, and he asked my daughter Meryl, who was probably 3 or 4, and man, she was the cutest little kid. He asked her what her favorite devotion song was. We were sitting out in the woods at a fire doing our family worship that night, and she says, "Do you remember what she said?"
Froggy Poop?
No.
Oh,
well,
that was a
just
good song
that.
too, though.
It was Peter Rabbit's song. And he's like, I don't think that's a family worship song. I'm like, oh my gosh, she made me just look terrible. But it was hilarious. But all that to say, when I started singing with the kids, I did not like it. I felt super self-conscious because I don't like to sing out loud. But I found out that by doing it every night with the kids, it took about 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't care anymore. Right. I was like, I don't care if my singing's terrible. And my singing actually got better. Well, at least not as obnoxious.
Arguably.
Yeah. Thank you. But over the years, it's like I was also now starting to sing in church, which you think I would always sing in church, but I didn't. I mean, I would listen, but I wasn't much of a singer. Now I'm singing. I'm singing in church. And I'm singing at home. And it's like, that's an example to your kids because the Bible has multiple verses, and I'm sure you have some in front of you which you can read. So maybe give us a couple of verses which would say, hey, worship the Lord in songs, right?
So Colossians 3:16, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And I think when you, for some reason, well, probably because we were raised singing, I never really had a problem with it.
Right.
All of my siblings, there are 13 of them, well, at least 12 or 11 of the 13 are extremely musically gifted. Similar to how twins skip a generation, that gene skipped me.
Oh yeah, it left you like hard,
high and dry.
Yeah, but you enjoy worship.
Yeah,
You
and
do.
I can I think I can carry it.
No, you can't.
Okay, so anyway, it's not
But
enjoyable. It might not be enjoyable.
You enjoy yourself. That's what I'm saying. Nobody else enjoys it around you, but you enjoy it.
All right, we're getting too personal. I'm not. Jules is gonna be like, "Why aren't you
your
singing in
singing."
devotions anymore?" Don't worry about
You're
it.
going to get better. It happened to me.
I've been singing my whole life.
There's hope. That's true.
Okay, so
It
anyway,
won't happen to you.
the point being, it doesn't really matter. Your kids
Right.
aren't going to care,
Yep.
and your wife, if she makes fun of
She
you,
won't
you make
care
fun of her
either.
back. Oh, yeah, that's
exactly.
that. Don't do that.
She won't care.
But and so, but the nice thing is, like, I don't know guitar, I don't know piano, I don't know violin, I really don't know any instruments, but I do know YouTube.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna read some of the things with the girls. My girls right now are 1.5. So we watch. If you Google YouTube, there's 5 videos called Praise Baby. They're each like 30 minutes long. They're each very generic, but very good worship songs played over B-roll of just random footage of like
Slow changing scenes,
like
not fast.
children playing
No
the ball
ADHD stuff.
or monkeys, or they have like birds and stuff in there. And the girls love it because that's the only time they get to watch a screen.
Yep.
And we like it because it actually helps like us because we actually are worshiping. We actually do get like a spiritual reset and encouragement at the end of the day. And so that's what we use right now. But for us growing up, because you had a lot of older kids, Sovereign Grace is also another great one. They have a lot of music videos with lyrics. They're slow songs. They're easy to
With
sing.
lyrics. Yep. It's helpful.
And City of Light. And you can do whatever the heck you guys want when it comes to what songs you're doing. But City of Light and Sovereign Grace are both bands that have a mission. Their whole mission is we write songs meant for congregational singing, AKA they're not hard to sing. They're not hard to understand, and their tunes are very easy to sing. There's nothing like crazy high or weird and not super repetitive. And so those are just some good resources for your singing. But I think the singing is the part that I would say most families, if they are getting together and doing worship or like a devotions, I would say of those, only a certain percentage are actually doing the singing and the worshiping. But a lot of scripture and Bible, like the one we just read, but there's more, tell you should be singing.
Right.
And I think it's actually very important because it teaches your kids from an early age. It brings in the emotional connection, and you're modeling that for them. So it helps them understand, like, this isn't weird to be, like, to have emotions associated with my relationship with Christ. It should be there. It's healthy for it to be there. But if all you ever do is read and your kid is 5, they're going to be bored out of their minds. And so the singing is like something that really engages them and helps them be like active in it, in my opinion.
No, you're right. So, and on that with like the YouTube, right? So I'll say this super nicely, but like there's so much out there right now that's good that you can find. And literally, let's say you spend an hour and you set up some stations on YouTube, right? Some like little things that you can go to immediately. You can have an amazing family worship time with you doing basically nothing.
Oh, yeah.
No offense, but like nothing. And we'll talk about the content portion in a second here as well, besides the singing. But like, it's easy. The work's already been done. In the old days, it was a little tougher. Now it's
And it's been
easy.
done a million different ways.
Yeah. So there's like, so for example, you mentioned Sovereign Grace, City Light. You can also like say family band music worship. If you like a little bit hokey, homeschool looking like stuff, it's out there.
No, he just called out your in-laws.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like it's not bad. And you feel more like, okay, we're in touch with this family because my little kids are watching their little kids sing, right? And it's like it's a little bit off key maybe. And when you're listening to YouTube, one thing you can do is turn the TV loud enough to where, just like in church, you don't really hear yourself so much.
Yeah.
And it makes you sing stronger. I think it's an amazing example for your kids of if dad's doing it, they don't feel like this hesitation. And I see it in my kids growing up. They all sang. And I didn't see anybody, literally, I don't think any of you guys ever fought singing in devotions. And even my oldest son, Colt, he's like me. He's not as like, oh, I really love to sing. But he always sang in family worship. He never hesitated. He's not like, again, he's like me. He's not the most musical guy, or I get my joy out of like, we should. But anyway, but he sang. They all sang. Nobody fought us on this. So granted, if you're listening and you're sort of like, we're trying to make up for lost ground, and you're introducing family worship to 14, 15-year-old kids and some younger kids, you're going to get some pushback probably for a little bit. I guarantee, though, it'll stop. If you just stay consistent and you have like hey, this is what we're going to do, and you just begin to do it. And I would not stop the video and say, you're not singing, right? And just begin. Play it loud enough, again, to where you can't necessarily hear individual people. And you just lead by example. Your little kids will jump in. Your older kids, I think, honestly, will eventually start to sing as well because it really is relaxing. If they're believers, the fruit will start to come in their life. If they're not believers, in some ways, them listening to you, sitting there pragmatically, just obeying because they don't want to get in trouble, that's enough. Your hands are sort of clean. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't make it a
your
discipline
seeds are
issue.
being planted.
Yeah. So don't if you don't sing, I'm going to spank you. Don't go there. Just lead by example and just be faithful. Man, again, in those kind of situations, I would say I would do it more than less. I'd do it at least 4 times a week because it's just not worth the fight for them. They'll just start coming. They'll do it because they know they have to. You can do it like at a convenient time for you. Like we mentioned, if you have a bunch of little kids, I would really do it after dinner because it slows them down. If you've got a middle-aged group, maybe before dinner because it brings them all together and sort of gets just kind of gets us together as a family again before we eat. If you've got a weird routine where a couple of the kids are going to be gone a couple of days a week because of sports or school or something, don't just say, well, we can't do it. Do it anyway. Even if it's just one kid and you sitting there, it's still worth it.
And a lot of times if we had a family activity or we had to go pick up somebody from somewhere they were at, we would do it on the way home in the car because you can just play the same songs over the car's stereo. And it's actually easier because it's dark, no one's looking, and you just sing a couple times. I think it becomes intimidating because as a parent, you feel like it's almost like homeschool where you're like, I need to have a curriculum. I need to have a sermon ready. I need to be ready to teach. Yeah. And also like homeschool, it's like actually everybody's already done that 50 million different ways. You just have to go look at what someone else has already done and just
don't reinvent the wheel.
It. Yeah.
Just
and
plug and
and
play.
You can, like if you want to teach your kids very personally from the scripture, reading out loud, and then like you going through it and defining it and helping them understand, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And some people we hear a lot like, well, I don't have time for that. It's like, well, you probably don't have time to do a full sermon every week, every day, especially.
I don't think you even want to be honest.
No, your kids would be very bored. But you do have time to literally you can just sit down and watch YouTube and then ask questions about it, interact with them afterwards.
So no magic numbers, right? But we always did 3 songs every night. We'd pray first.
Sounds like a magic number.
Bring our heads together, do 3 songs. Just because it's like I want to do enough to where I'm enjoying singing. You do 1, it's kind of like It's like a church. Too
you gotta
many,
warm up.
you sort of like losing it, I think. But we just did 3. Then we started learning content.
Before you go, let me just say one more thing about that.
I'm not going anywhere.
I meant Zane. He has something to say. Good
job, Zane.
I think when it comes to picking your songs too, this is stupid, but when we set up for devotions, all the kids go to the living room. We all sit on the couch, and there's always not really an argument, but a contest to see what. Zane, do you know what I'm talking about? You've been over
Who
the house
gets
enough.
to control the remote?
Who gets to control the
get to
remote?
pick
Because
the
who
song.
Can I
gets
do Marotes?
who gets to control the remotes
That's what
gets to
Angus
pick
used to
the
say.
songs.
Yep.
And it's like stupid, but it gives your kids like a little bit of ownership and like, ooh, I get to pick the songs we sing tonight, and it's fun for them. Now you're not even picking the songs.
And some kids pick songs just to annoy their siblings.
Oh yeah,
Just so you're aware. So we're not like super holy and spiritual. I mean, welcome
yeah,
to
it's
real
not like,
life.
I can't wait to worship. It's like if I get the remotes, I'm going to play the song Droopy hates.
Yeah, and some kids say he always picks the shortest songs because he wants it to be over with. It's like, you know what? Who cares? Don't question your motive. Just keep doing your job.
My favorite is when I come home, I'll pick the remotes because it's usually like oldest gets say.
Scream and scream. Is that what
And
you
so
do?
I'll pick new songs I know they haven't sang before.
That's
that
true.
They always get upset, but I've introduced you to a lot of good songs.
But not by Shane and Shane.
Dad does. I
Scream
like
and
Shane
Scream,
and
as I call
Shane.
them.
If you in the worship initiative, shout out to them. They're great.
They are. If you want to come on our podcast, we'll let you.
Oh, I would do whatever to get them on the podcast. They're awesome. Zane,
So
what
if
were
you
gonna
know
say?
them, help
Oh,
us
yeah.
out. All right, Zane, what were you going to
I
say?
was just gonna say another resource that I really like. Keith and Kristen Getty.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
put on the Sing Music Conference every year in
With
Nashville
Shane and Shane.
with Shane and Shane
And with City Light.
and City Light, and they have a lot of great resources for families too. They're really passionate. They have a lot of little girls, so family worship's a big deal for them.
Yep.
And they just released with Crossway the Sing Music Hymnal, and me and my wife took it home last year. And it's actually been really helpful. That's kind of what we use for family worship right now.
And wait, time out. You're doing family worship right now with just you and your wife.
We're not as consistent. We're not doing it like every night, but we do probably do it like once a week at least.
Do you sing together?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
High five,
Oh,
Zane.
thank you.
You're
but
leading. That's
but
awesome.
what we like about it is it's like structured to follow the church calendar. So it's like it's got songs that are more geared towards like Advent or Epiphany or Easter, the Easter season, or Christmas, or like the life of Christ, or directed towards children. You know, like
Yep.
it's broken up. And so it's easy, like if you're not really sure what to do, you can just go find that section and kind of like
Been done for
realize
you.
what time it's already done. And then next to the hymnal, or to the hymn or the song or whatever that's in there, it also has like scripture, or it has like prayers, or different statements by like theologians that is related to the subject that the song or the hymn is communicating. So that's already kind of like a built-in just meditation that you can use with your kids. So it's super simple if you are somebody that's a little more inclined towards being
Liturgy.
able to sing. And no, it's not even a liturgy. It's not like you're chanting or anything like that. It's just
Talking if you're
it's just
listening.
music, and it's not all old hymns.
We love you.
It's not all the old hymns either. It's also they have a lot of newer songs in there, so it's like
Yeah.
from every age of the church.
And if
But
you
we
don't
really
know-
like that, and we've been doing that with some of the like the mentors and stuff.
Oh,
When they
awesome.
come over to our house, they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let's get the hymnal out and let's sing." And so we'll just like sit there and sing a few songs
Good
that they
for you.
pick. But
Trenton,
that's
are you
been
doing
fun.
that? Trentoni, one of our producers.
Trenton
in the
has
back.
not done that. He barely
Right.
comes to my house.
Comment in the section below if you want him to start doing this. Say, Trenton, you need to like get spiritual. So,
If you don't know
Get
who
spiritual.
Keith and Kristen Getty are, Keith, their claim to fame is he wrote "In Christ Alone,"
Ooh.
which everybody thinks is like a Super
Which
Bowl
is actually
hymn.
a modern hymn.
Yeah, it's actually a
He
modern
really wrote
hymn.
that?
Fun
He
fact.
really did.
It's a pretty good song.
Well, well, good.
It's a pretty good.
I'll call him.
little
Let him know
song
he
there.
got your approval.
Excellent.
So I think when it comes to family worship,
Yep.
well, when it comes to this podcast, we say a lot of things are our opinions. This is actually something I think isn't an opinion. This actually is commanded pretty explicitly in Scripture. So Psalm 78, 1-4 says, "Give ear, O my people, to my teaching. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known that our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from our children, but tell the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord and his might and the wonders that he has done."
Wow. Mic drop.
And he is saying how important that is, especially back then, because the vast majority of history was being told through stories, right?
Yeah.
Through parents telling their kids. Now we have the Bible, so you can just read the Bible and that achieves everything that he just said. But I think it is an explicit command. Like, it's your job to show your children the character of God. And he's saying you should be doing that through singing songs of worship, through telling them sayings of old, which in this scenario I would define that as like Bible stories.
Yep.
And so I think we talk a lot, even the one-on-one discipleship. I don't know that you could say, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't know that there's a specific verse we can say to that prescribes that in a Christian's life. But family worship, it is very explicit multiple times in the Bible how important it is and that it has to be done.
You just gave an amazing verse as contrasted to one people typically give, which is Deuteronomy 6, right? 1-4 or whatever, which is also awesome, which talks about when to be teaching your kids, right?
Yeah.
But that's a good one. You just read it. Like, literally print out and like maybe read it for a week in your family worship and just talk about each little part of that verse. I mean, we're going to talk about the school group here in a second and their role in family worship, because again, like on our accountability, there's not a right way to do this, but you need to do this.
Yeah.
And so get involved with other people and hear, okay, what are you guys doing for the singing portion? Because some people love to just play the guitar or just play the piano, right? Or sing a cappella and just do hymns or just do the Psalms or whatever. And it's like, awesome. Share that and why it's been impactful for your family, how you do it successfully. Help other people like you just did with the Praise Baby, right? I totally agree with you. And it's like some people might try that and think, oh, this is really lame.
Not for us.
But for us, it was like, I honestly still like it better than the stuff we're doing now. But I know my kids are older and they don't, but Praise Baby was like super good for me because it was just easy and it was very relaxing. Anyway.
I think just to keep on this biblical mandate thing, I had to pull up my phone here. A lot of people, I think, including myself, are almost embarrassed about the family devotions because a lot of people don't do it, and a lot of people definitely don't do it publicly. And something we did growing up that I think you guys did really good is if we had friends over or we had guests staying with us, whether it was from college or your guys' friends or old people, it never changed family devotions. We would always do them, and our friends or whoever's over is just welcome to join. And it wasn't like a weird pressure thing, like you have to be there. But like I remember it's such a good way to encourage other believers, which is our job,
right?
But also be a light to non-believers. Like we've had people come to, I had one of my old patients from nursing came over for dinner, and him and his wife, and they sat in for devotions, and like he was crying afterwards. Like that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I think that it's a good demonstration to your children, the mandate they have to carry this on and to worship God publicly and to be like a light. And it's funny that I always think I'm going to be embarrassed because people are going to think we're weird and dumb. But every time we do it, like we go to Florida every year with another family, and every like second night or third night, we'll do ocean devotions. So we all go to the beach. We sit in this giant circle. It gets really giant now. There's too many people. It's hard to hear people from the other end. But anyway, and we'll do devotions on the beach. So we're singing on the beach. We're talking on the beach. Everybody's going through and kind of sharing what's happened in the last year and how God's been working with them. And we get so many people coming by and being like, wow, this is so cool. We get random families joining that we met like the day before that just heard about it. And it's just a neat way to help show your kids like, church is church. On Sundays we go to church, right? But like the greater meaning, like it can be kind of like, we are the church. It can be kind of hippie or mystical. But I think it's true.
Crunchy, as we call it.
Crunchy. There was
Crunchy, Zane.
Crunchy. I know.
I'm looking for a verse here that I can't find.
Yeah, that's why we're still
okay.
grumbling.
Acts 2:46. Day by day, talking about the church, attending the temple together, breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad, generous hearts. So just talking about the church back then, and I think we've come away from that a lot, where worship is defined as what we do on Sunday at church in the building with a band, and I think that has been a
robber.
Yeah, I think it's taken away a lot more than it's given.
Yep. So I would just add on or piggyback whatever the comment about when people are there, let that be almost more of an impetus to do it, not to shy away, because they really do enjoy it. It really brings, I think, because they always want to talk. It's weird. They'll want to give they'll say something positive about it, or they'll say like what's going on in their life. Great for your kids to hear other believers like struggles or success stories or like their testimonies, right? Just family worship needs to look like alive, and it needs to look like it changes. It's not just this, we always do exactly the same, and your kids are just like, right? Break up the songs once in a while. The learning portion, which we haven't gotten to yet, but like we do at the Bible Project about every day.
Which is?
It's on YouTube. It's just like a little short, Tim Mackey and somebody else. They do this little, maybe anywhere from a short to like 5 or 6 minutes to maybe 15 minutes if they're going over one of the books of the Bible. You just watch it, and it just helps you like learn about something in the Bible.
They'll do series like we're going to go through the wisdom literature of the Old Testament, or we're going to do a series
Sermon on the Mount.
Words.
Yeah.
So today we're going through faith. Like what does a word actually mean?
Yep.
And it's so helpful, and everybody loves them because as the adult, you're actually I learned so much from their videos.
Oh yeah.
And they're animated by like drawings and fun animations.
They
so your
keep
kids
kids'
love them
attention,
because they're maybe getting some of it, but really they're liking the fact that it's moving and it's fun to watch.
But it's like, but it's training.
Yeah.
And you don't have to sit there and like agree with everything, right? Because I think our eschatology, for one example, is a little different than theirs. I don't care. Like, and we'll listen to what they say. Like we'll go through the Revelation series they do, and it's like I want to hear what they're thinking because I want my kids to know there are some things in Scripture that we might be a little different than other believers, but we're still worshiping the same Jesus Christ. We don't have to be 100% accordance in every single thing we do. It's a good discussion point. Anyway, we'll get with the content in a minute. But as a Bible project's one short thing we'll do, or like maybe we've done like the John MacArthur 52 most influential verses series, and that would be a substitute for like the Bible project, maybe for like a 3-month period. He'll read a Bible verse, give a literally 2-minute like summary of what that Bible verse means, and it's done. And then we don't sit there and rediscuss it, but we watch the same one for at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks.
You literally just repeat the exact same video for a week.
Yeah. And it just
as the kids are
through your kid's
memorizing
mind.
the verse,
Yep.
which was part of it too. But I think just doing, again, like none of those are rocket science. They're actually
No.
pretty basic. But
Already
just
done.
the fact that you're doing it. And then you would always ask after, like, does anybody have any questions? Or you might ask like a conversation stimulating question to one of the kids. Like, I don't know. I can't think of any examples.
Yeah, well, we did it the other day. We were talking about, it was the in the Sermon on the Mount with the Bible Project. I asked Grandma, who was sitting there, 'cause I can't remember what the theme was, but I said, Grandma, what's your take on that? Because Grandma joins us in devotions. And it's like, I want the kids to hear Grandma's faith is alive. Grandma has thoughts on, the things we're watching too. And sometimes they're different than mine, right? Because she grew up with, or not grew up, but she was married to a, very strong, theologian, but there's like, her take might be slightly different, or what's really funny nowadays, because she's got, this isn't funny, but she has Parkinson's, right? So she's like, she forgets everything.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes she'll talk and she'll just be like, I don't really know what that means. And the kids will hear her and they'll know you used to know what it meant, right? So it's helping the kids live through seasons with each other, with extended family. And it's like, it's not all like good news. But even watching Grandma want to keep learning. I mean, she loves sitting there. Like we were watching don't judge me out there, but we were watching The Chosen as part of our like content portion of our family worship. We just got like 16 hate mail comments.
Good thing you're converting to Mormonism.
Amen.
LDS over here.
But here's what's cool. I haven't seen anything yet that I necessarily
Actually, I love
is
The
rocking
Chosen.
my
They're
world.
great.
But like she said, and I loved this because when we're done, she raised her hand, or she said, Aaron, she said, I don't want to be thinking wrongly. She said, this puts because she saw it as like dangerous. She said, this puts a visual in my mind of what that scene in the temple was like when Christ drove out the money changers. And she said, what if that's wrong? What if that's not the emotion displayed in that way? I'm like, Grandma, you're correct. This is why we talk, right? So we talked about Jesus' response to the money changers in the temple. Was what they said or how they portrayed it, was it correct? And I'm like, could be. Right? And it's like the scripture gives us a snippet. And the authors of scripture are expecting us to fill in the blanks. They really are, especially in like Genesis and some of the Old Testament books. But even in the New Testament, it's like they don't tell you how to think necessarily on every little thing. But as a group, oh my gosh, this is fantastic because it's almost you want something that could be a little bit wrong maybe if you're discussing it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's good.
Well, I think it's also super important because I actually love The Chosen. Sorry, you play them for your kids. Maybe you taught me to love them.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But I think the reason I like them is because, especially for kids, and I remember as kids, you think The Chosen is bad. We used to watch these series, and oh my gosh, they were the dumbest. We watched. There was John. There was Acts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Gospel according to John. There was video presentations made in the 90s, I think.
The dumbest video. I mean, they were so cheesy. They were like, Jesus was like this super soft, like he talked like this, and just like, which I mean, who knows?
He might have. I doubt it.
But like the angels were like, I'll just say it. I mean, they looked like they were homosexual. They talked, it was just like they glowed. It was just weird.
Yeah, I used to always say that's why they always said, "Fear not."
Yeah,
don't be afraid.
I'm like, I wouldn't fear you actually. It was just anyway.
Made those
the
videos,
point being, I would say without argument, they vastly portrayed things that were wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we talked about it.
But you talked about it. Plus, Zane's having an allergy.
Easy over there, Zane. Come on.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Allergic to my
I
opinion.
bless you, but I'm not.
So anyway, the point there being though is when you have like a 5-year-old all the way up to like a 15-year-old. I think what watching those dumb videos does, and I say dumb because they can be wrong. Who cares? You're talking about it. Is it does make it real to them. And I think that's why The Chosen is so popular because it took we live in an age where reading a book is pretty hard for a lot of people. And reading the Bible is really hard. Reading the Bible is hard for me, and I love to read. And so when you watch The Chosen, it does put an image in your head. And what it does is, going back to the emotions, it reminds you, like, wait a minute, all of this actually happened. It's not like I believe in it because it says it is. I believe in it because it truly happened. Same with, like, when you watch The Passion of the Christ, you cry. I've watched The Passion a million times. I still cry every time. And I still look at everybody else watching it, and almost everybody else is crying. And it's not because we're just now learning that Jesus was crucified. But now that we're watching it happen, undefinably, it wasn't exactly how it happened, right?
No.
But it's like it makes it real, and it reminds you, like, this actually happened. This was actually something that was really going on. Like, Jesus actually suffered. The disciples, like Peter, actually betrayed him. Like, that's horrible. I'm not getting confused with Judas. I'm talking about the denial, just so people don't come at me. But again, I think it's just devotions is a great way to take your relationship with Christ and show your kids this is something real and tangible, not like daddy believes in a book,
Oh yeah, 100%. So keep in mind, we've said this on a different podcast, the like 60-40 rule or the 80-20 rule. So like we've watched like the Ken Hovind creation series videos multiple times. And as time goes on, right, and our faith grows, our learning grows, I used to think he was like, wow, this guy's correct on everything. Now I'm like, he might be a 70-30 guy. 70% pretty good content, 30% garbage, whatever. Not garbage, but like maybe his own skew on things. But either way, it's like he's waking you up to some things that you might not have a time if you were just to sit down and try to teach your kids these different things on evolution versus creation or whatever. But watching a video, we'll watch literally 15, 20 minutes when we go through a video series during our worship time. We keep it pretty limited so they don't just start, losing.
Phasing out.
Yeah, because they're kids. So we'll watch 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour if it's really riveting. And then we talk about it. And we talk about biblically speaking, this whole section was 100% right, line on line, except for these sections here. Opinion, or possibly, in my perspective, maybe even wrong. And we'll talk about that. And we'll say, so what do you do when you hear this in church? You give grace, right? If there's a room for like translation or like understanding it. And if it's wrong, you might have to reconsider going to a different church, because like you're learning discernment and you're teaching your kids discernment by not just, echo chambering everything you do for worship or for your discipleship time. You go through stuff that may be a little different than what you believe, a little bit. So again, this is with your discernment as the parent. And if you don't know, then talk to your elders at your church or your pastor and find things that are solid so you don't lead your family astray. You definitely got to be careful on that. So.
And I think as the dad, I love practical things. And so when you're talking about devotions, as the dad who you're supposed to be leading your family spiritually, doing nightly devotions gives you a great tool to help your kids look it through whatever you're going through. We used to watch a guy, Ken Ham, Answers in Genesis. He would always say, "Put on your biblical glasses," and siblings would say that all the time.
Especially
put on your biblical glasses.
He was hilarious.
And but that's how he defines like a Christian worldview, right? You should be looking at everything through the lens of the Bible. And what it does is, if you guys are going through a hard time as a family, whether it's, you change jobs, your guys' church split, you guys, one of your kids just had a really bad breakup, or, they had to change schools or something, you can shift devotions to address that. And I think like when Briar had a big accident, right? We did a lot of devotions on how do you trust God when everything is seeming to be going wrong? Like when you have a grandparent die, when you have an uncle die, like when they experience loss, you go through in devotions. Hey, let's go through this book on heaven. Like we say heaven's real, but what does it even mean? What's even there?
Right.
And so I think it gives you a great tool just practically to have this conversation with all your kids in one spot at one time. That's the standard. They all know it's going to happen. Not like this big thing happens, so we have to have a giant family meeting and discuss it all. Because then your kid's like, what's going on? It makes it a bigger deal almost. Versus in devotions, it gives you the tool to show them like life happens, and we always have to view it through our biblical worldview. What does that look like right now?
So we live in the age of ChatGPT, right? And those kind of things. And in many ways, I hate it. I hate I want to go back sometimes to the 80s or whatever. But man, this would be one area where, what a blessing, right? Because we have so much to offer, like our families in time of worship. We don't have to come up with it. Some of us, myself, big time included, we don't know it all, man. Or maybe we can't present things that great. But we can sure, like, I'm going to do this book review next week in the school group thing. And it's like, the book's already been written. And guess what? I'm not the author, right? I'm not this great well of knowledge. But it's like, but I'll pass on, hey, here's how you take somebody else's work and apply it, right? So it's there. You mentioned Heaven, which was a series by Randy Alcorn. You mentioned Ken Ham. We mentioned Ken Hovind. You mentioned, we mentioned lots of different, content stuff. And you as a dad can say, hey, we're reading the book of John for our worship. Hey, good job. Awesome. Fantastic. But for the dad that's out there that's a fairly new Christian or more just trepidatious, then find something that's been done. And again, if you need to clear this through your elders or through your pastor to make sure it's legit, right, then do that. But you don't have to be afraid. It's all there. And you said earlier, you compared it to homeschooling. That's already all been done as well. And it's yeah, there's so many different curriculums available, so much work. You just got to plug and play. And it's and in the middle of your freedom from not having to come up with all the initial ideas, now you can really adjust it to what's going on with your individual kids, the circumstances in your life, like you just said. So it's we're blessed. So that'd be one great thing about this modern technology. I remember when I was I was in high school and college, I wanted to be a mountain man. I wanted to live in the woods, on a horse in the middle of, the Bob Marshall Wilderness in Montana. That's what I wanted. And it's now I'm no, I want a bed. I want medicine. I want your
massage chair.
Regular food. Yeah. And it's I realize, okay, there's some real good things to modern technology. This would be the same kind of a deal. It's yeah, we may think, our society is so terrible and what a wicked world. And that's all true. And it is hard. But man, the things that are good, capitalize on them. And family worship, easy to capitalize on.
Yeah.
Easy. So do it.
Do it.
So, this is another one. I'm just going to say this at the end of every episode. It's personal, but this is one that the Bible does command, doing devotions with your family. So, what we're going to do is if you are already in the school group, then we're going to create a resource document of all the things we just named, plus as many others as we can think of, because there's a million out there. But what I'll also do is put a post up where you can go comment if you're doing family devotions, what you guys are going through. Because like you said, when we do discipleship, accountability at those parenting Bible studies, everybody says what they're doing for devotions, for accountability, but also because I'm oh, the Palazzis are doing that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go buy that book because that sounds awesome. That sounds age appropriate. Or whatever it may be, you just get a lot of ideas. So if you're on the school group, go find that post and comment what you guys are going through now, and we'll put it in the document. And then if not, go join it, and we'll put it under our resources for you guys to find and get a hold of, because, again, it's not going to have all the answers, but it will have some answers and give you a quick, here's where you can start. Here's, if your kids are 10 to 15, here's some resources.
Don't leave that yet.
0 to 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm leaving it.
Nope.
Okay.
So if you've been doing family worship, man, please do what Silas just said, and maybe put down the top 5.
Yeah, anything you can think of.
We love this book series. We love this, this video series on YouTube or wherever it's at. Tell where it's found. Tell why you liked it. What's the name of it, right? And how they can go get it. Because my goodness, you will be I think awestruck by what all's out there.
Oh, yeah.
So please comment.
Did you know there's over 1 billion Christian books released every single day?
That's a lie.
Yeah, I just made it up. But it sounds kind of nice. When you say it, I mean, it could be real. There's a lot.
Could be real.
I don't think it's that real.
Anyway, so go comment everything you can think of that's been helpful for you guys. And it'll give everybody a lot of good ideas.
Yep,
if you're not part of the school group, go join the school group now so you can get a hold of this and talk to everybody else in there. And we have other resources listed in there as well. And they're starting the book club this will release the week that the book club releases.
That's
so
correct.
It starts this week. So go join it. You can learn a lot about whatever books you're going to be. I don't even know what book you're going through. What book are you going through?
We're doing 2 books.
Ooh.
One is for parenting. We're going to be looking at Child Training Tips by Reb Bradley. And all we're doing is going through the general overview of the book first, and then what chapter 1 is basically saying, and then I'll just make some random comments about ways to apply it. And then for the discipleship books, we're going through something that you would be with a young kid, a book called Created for Work by Bob Schultz. He's got a series, and it doesn't matter what book. I'm just demonstrating how to do it. And
it just gives
you
you
can use these books, but whatever.
We talked to a wife the other day who was my husband, he didn't really have a super present father, and he's not really sure how to start discipleship. So our goal is to okay, well, let's just solve that issue. So he's just going to do it and be here's exactly what you can say to your kid. Here's how you can apply this to your guys' daily life. So if you're not in the school group, that's something we've been super excited about starting. So go join. If you have any questions for us, email them to questions@futurefamiliesmedia.com. And if you haven't already interacted with this, you can like it, you can share it, you can comment on it, and please subscribe, follow us on Spotify, leave us a review, leave us a comment. It helps us a ton
Please.
and helps us get this to more people. And that's our goal, is to be helpful to more people. So all that being said, come back next week. We'll have something else fun to talk about, and go do devotions with your family.
See you soon.
Bye.
Oh, we'll do accountability. Next time we'll talk about what we did with devotions.
Okay, great. I'll be ready to hear what the twins are learning.
All right. Bye.